Okay. I read Heroes in Crisis issue number 8. I had reread it and reread it again. And I am going to be honest. Here's the thing. I was like one of the probably few people that were defending this book to an extent. Like, I was defending this comic to an extent. Yes, I recognize its problems, but I thought if it did something satisfying payoff out of all this misery, then okay, fine. This... I don't know how they... When I saw this, I was like, how do you salvage all this? There's one issue left. This is the penultimate issue. And now it's like, how do you salvage any of this? Like, it's like that. It's like someone else took over. Like, okay, I've said this for the last several videos regarding Heroes in Crisis that I do believe that Tom King is a good writer. He could write compelling stories, but when it comes to this kind of story, I feel like it was editorially mandated by the heads of DC because they hate one character, specifically Dan DiDio. And what they did in this, and Tom King got the brunt of it, like, yeah, Dan DiDio has publicly made his comments known about how he feels about Wally West because stupidity nonsense, because, hating a fictional character because he's not what you like in a character, because you like Barry Allen more, is clearly logical deduction. It's not because of the writing, the portrayal of the character, and the fact that this character was an inspiration for many, many people, even from the good times and the bad, because they kept the core of that character intact. No, this is basically Character Assassination 101. So let's rename this issue Alive, as it was called, and call it Character Assassination. So, yeah. We saw the last issue of how Wally West says he hurt Poison Ivy after resurrecting her somehow with the Speed Force, which I did explain why I did not have a problem with it, because I could understand to an extent what it might have been, why it was able to happen. But now we're in this particular issue that talks about what led to Heroes to this event. And we cut to Wally making a huge confessional inside the Sanctuary confession room, and the logo's broken, there's blood everywhere, and he's looking all cold and calculated and whatnot. And as we see panels and panels and pages of characters who are experiencing their own trauma, Wally narrates, basically explaining why the hell this happened, what the hell happened, and why everything led to everything. So basically this chapter is one gigantic exposition dump, explaining the entire plot, which leads to this question. DC... I'm going to ask this very, very, very specific question. Do you fail at making big event storyline mystery murders, where you have a murder mystery on a scale that affects everybody, and you fail at it? No, really, think about it. Like Armageddon 2000 or 2001 it was called, they had a compelling mystery, they had it set up, they go through all the clues, but then the ending was leaked and they changed it, wrecking the entire story and wrecking what could have been an interesting angle. And Linkara has been on that case, that's why I learned that. And then we have Identity Crisis, compelling murder mystery, just retcons that questioned everything, and then had a disappointing payoff, because if you think about it for more than 5 seconds, you realize there's no way this would have worked. And now you have this story where the killer is revealed, and how it all happened is told in the final issue, and he's just telling the Lois Lane, who's clearly watching this. And as Wally explains what happened, and he's explaining about his mental state, about how he was alone, how he remembered everything. Because prior to, like, during the Flash 4 event, Wally West, after meeting Aunt Iris, all of a sudden, all his memories of the pre-New 52 continuity came back, and he remembers everything. And now he's basically living two lives at once. So he have two sets of memories in his head. One from a time where everything was hopeful and prosperous, even in the darkest of times, and the other is all bleak and depressing, with the hope trying to get back out, but certain forces are trying to squash it down. And then Wally, for some reason, was starting to think that because he was called the symbol of hope, that they were just faking this place, that they weren't really in pain, that he was the only one. They're just trying to make it look like he was a good guy. Which, okay, Wally, that is the stupidest logic you ever come up with, because no, I can't say it's Wally, because I know for a fact Wally does not really think this. Like, even if you add in the old continuity that he remembers everything from the past, from the old DC universe before the reboot. He remembers all that. So he knows that there are these people he knows he's been close with that have had struggles. So why on earth is he thinking that they don't this time? Like, it's clearly known Arsenal has a drug problem and has multiple addiction issues. And he knows that. The only difference is Leanne doesn't exist, and his relationship with Cheshire was, There's Donna Troy, who had learned in this continuity that she's a golem, to an extent, a magically crafted golem designed to kill Wonder Woman, and that failed miserably. And even before that, even in the old canon, she was having multiple origin stories. And, like, there's no way Wally actually thinks this. So Wally travels, and because he's so fast, he's able to reconstruct the billions of broken datas of the confessions, and because privacy is stupid, he decides to watch every single piece of information that all the heroes, and even some of the anti-heroes that have visited that place, violating their privacy, violating their trust, and violating friendships in ways that I could never imagine.
You gotta be joking
me! And like, DC's still trying to say is, LOL, he's insane. So really, that's gonna make everything make sense. And then Wally admits that when he saw this, he realized he wasn't alone, that there were actually people suffering. ZOMG, people are actually suffering. You do realize how Jordan went crazy one time and killed everyone in the Green Lantern Corps, became Parallax, and lost it. And then Jeff Johns had to fix it 2 decades later. And then following Wally's little looking around of everything and violating everyone's privacy, because that made sense, for some reason, he triggered an alarm. He wanted to be alone for once, and everyone had come out, saw him, and looked to help him. But then when he realized what he was doing, his Speed Force abilities broke control and accidentally killed everyone there.
You did not just do that.
Please note, this mass murdering, horrible, grotesque imagery, these bloody crusades, this bloody sight that we got throughout the entire series, the autopsies, all of it, they were all accidents. All of this was just a horrific accident. And how does Wally handle the situation? So yeah, Poison Ivy, Arsenal, Commander Steel, Weapon, Tempest, I'm just naming things. All the heroes that were there, like Solstice, Gennard, Blue Jay, Nemesis, Kid Devil, all of them died because of an accident freakout. Not a mass murdering spree, it was a horrific accident. So what did Wally do to rectify the situation? Does he confess what he did, go to the Justice League and explain what happened? Or does he do something incredibly stupid because Dan DiDio has to order it to be stupid? So he decides in Dan DiDio's twisted logic in order to kill Wally West, decides to go ahead and manipulate certain events by tricking Booster and Harley in this convoluted, messed up plan where, okay, Harley, I get why she was still in her VR room because she was told to stay there by Poison Ivy, but Booster, what purpose did he delay his time for? Beating up his duplicate? Yeah. So Wally had set up this whole scenario where it looked like the other had killed each other using the device thanks to his incredible speed, and then he took Booster's equipment, disabled the shield, went back in time, went forward through time with it to meet the Wally West at the end of Heroes in Crisis number 7. And the Wally there tells him there's a flower floating in Gotham River, a rose. Find it, plant it, it's one more thing. And past Wally says, is that it? And future Wally says, yeah, I guess that's it. And Wally West proceeds to kill himself by breaking his neck, I think. So then he brought the body back into the past from 5 days later. And he had set up all the bodies, moved them, desecrated them, and moved them all over the place to make it look like it was a massacre. That someone went there, had the full intention to murder people, and yeah. All those bodies were tampered with. And then he staged everything to make it look like that Wally was killed in that day, so he would have time to get out or do something. And he would have Booster and Harley Quinn framed to try and kill each other and distract everyone for some reason. And then Wally's madness continues where he starts killing all the machines and killing all the robots that were designed to help them. And I'm still questioning on that logic. And then wrote the whole Puddlers thing and made this whole speech about why he chose that. And then Wally then says this: the bodies, Booster, Harley, their fight, the Puddler, it worked. It distracted everyone. It made everyone focus on the murders that worked and the suspects that didn't. And meanwhile, despite what I'd done, I was free. See, it gave me time. It gave me 5 days. 5 days from the moment I lost control. 5 days until I come and kill myself. 5 days. 5 days. 5 days for me to do something as good as what I'd done bad. 5 days, Miss Lane, for me to finally tell the truth. That is what happened. This was a gigantic exposition dump to explain everything that happened instead of having it be the final issue where the heroes learn why the hell this happened. Why did he do this? And here's the thing that bugs me about this. It was already pushing it enough as it is, considering this came out the same year as what happened in Parkland or all the other horrible tragedies of mass shootings in relation to mental health. But now you're saying that this horrible tragedy that killed so many people that gave hope to people was just a horrendous accident, and instead of coming up and owning up to it, Wally decides to just make the problem worse and help build the eventual DC universe to lead into what would become a doomsday clock. What the hell? So, that leads to this next question. What the hell is the end game? Because we clearly saw that Wally does indeed do this. He succeeds. But then what's the aftermath result? Does he go back to the 5 days later? In fact, that leads to this whole huge plan. He was able to travel through time 5 days into the future with Booster's tech. Why not just go back and stop yourself from looking at the videos? Or stop yourself from losing control? Or, go somewhere since you're in the Speed Force as well as that other Wally that would snap. Why wouldn't you just go back in time to moments before you snapped, speed up to your past self, and take it far away from there so you could explode the energy but not kill anyone in the process? What? Oh, Dan DiDio had demanded it? Okay. Yeah, yeah, this is what pisses me off about this whole issue because, okay, look, something told me, something dreaded that they were going to make Wally West be the scapegoat here because Dan DiDio has this agenda. Dan DiDio hates Wally West with so much passion that I can't think why. He never gave a proper explanation as to why this hatred for a fictional character who is not the black kid that they made for the New 52. Why? Why does this guy hate a fictional character named Wally West? You might as well have just had Dan DiDio be a character in the story, like Grant Morrison puts self-inserts in his stories before. Why not just make a Dan DiDio character that wants to kill everybody? Oh wait, he did. He's called Dr. Manhattan of the Jeff Johns continuity. So, like I said, I don't even know what the end game here is, other than the rumor Wally West is going to join the Suicide Squad because to atone in some way. Except that shouldn't be the case because, let's be honest, even if he atones, his life is ruined. What he was trying to rebuild, at least. He can't reunite with what was her name? Yeah, he can't reunite with Linda because, one, she'll hate him because of what he did, and they'll try to avoid him for all costs, especially since he keeps babbling on about her in these videos that clearly he's become obsessed to the point it almost sounds stalkerish. After explaining, like, we had a past life together, and it was romantic, we had kids that you don't remember. Yeah, you see where this is coming from? And then you have Jay and Iris West, Wally West's two kids with Linda. They're trapped. He can't get them back. Oh, wait, he could if he used Booster's tech and stopped himself from starting the Flash War. And after explaining how all this happened. Oh, no, wait, we can't do that. That makes too much sense. Like, they don't even explain that Booster can't go back, that they can't use that time machine to go back to specific points other than 5 days and 5 days back. If they explained that, then okay, fine. If they could explain it, fine. But they never explain how that this all could have been prevented, how all these variables that could go wrong and clearly is going wrong. So, does that mean that Booster and the team he's with leading right now are going to create a paradox effect where they stop the Wally from killing the other, causing everything to go in balancement and time being destroyed to an extent, only to be reconstructed in the same issue because they got Doomsday Clock going on? And you want to know the other thing about this? This comic series, I do believe, is the reason why Doomsday Clock's been getting its constant delays. Really think about it. Like, at the end of issue 9, when Lex Luthor asks Lois Lane, do you know the name Wally West? Ever heard of the name Wally West? She knows now from this issue because of the tapes. So, and it was delayed again, the 10th issue, where it's been delayed to the 22nd of May by another week. And the 10th issue apparently a week later as well. Which leads to this. Did Jeff Johns be forced to rewrite parts of the script to get Wally back? Because I do believe Jeff Johns was not told any of this. Because think about it, if he was told any of this, I don't think we would be getting these delays. But because he's not in with the DC management anymore since he left the chief creative officer position, Dan DiDio just ran wild, and now Jeff Johns is like, oh my god, Dan, did you not listen to what I had planned? Oh, I heard what you had planned. I just don't like Wally. But he's essential for this story. We've spent 2 years working on this story to get to this point. Well, I hate Wally. Damn storytelling and sales. I have an agenda against a character that doesn't even exist. Yeah, so something tells me Jeff Johns is going to retcon Wally West's horrible deeds in Heroes in Crisis and just say Dr. Manhattan and the comedian did it. Like I said, I was always on that thought that Dr. Manhattan, the comedian, had something to do with this. But now that they paint this picture of a mentally unstable Wally West who clearly doesn't care what he's done, and all this being a horrible, gruesome accident and doing stupid plans that make no sense and could clearly go wrong, I don't give all the characters were smart, even the full Batman? Even Batman would be like, wait, that doesn't explain. Then how did Commander Steel have that thing lodged in his throat? Wait, how does that happen? Wait, why didn't I detect the 5 days old thing? Wait, I could have asked Booster for that. Wait, where's Booster's time machine? I could ask that. Like, it's like, it's like Dan DiDio is hoping that the audience is so stupid that we don't detect these plot holes. So yeah, I can't defend this issue now, but since I'm so far into it and there's one issue left, I have to finish this in my mind. It's not like the Darth Vader comics where I just start getting more and more and more crazed with the questioning contradictions that were happening left and right that I stopped halfway through. I need to finish this to get at least know what the payoff's going to be, because everything just went to hell afterwards. Dan, why do you hate him so much? Why do you hate Wally West so much? That's one of my reasons why I think he won't be back for Young Justice after dying in the Arctic at the end of season 2. I would not be surprised if Dan was told this, that they were going to bring him back, and then Dan was like, no, I cannot have him. He ruins my life. He ruined my life. Yeah, here's the thing. I am not blaming Tom King for any of this. I do get the feeling he had one specific story he wanted to tell. Dan wanted to do another thing. I get, like, Tom King could have been wanted to tell a story about mental health. Dan, however, wants an agenda against Wally because he has an ego problem. And because he hates people who don't exist. So they do this whole scenario where it's back and forth, and ultimately, because Tom King is not in a position of power, he was told, write the script or else. And he had no choice. Probably reason why this series was expanded from 6 to 9 issues, because what was going to be a Heroes in Crisis commentary on mental health awareness and the dangers of not attending to mental health and not dealing with it, with the problem before something horrible goes wrong, they decide, we gotta build a murder mystery. We gotta make Wally a killer. So yeah, as you clearly can tell, I am not happy with this issue. Like, this ultimately killed it. Unless the payoff is so damn good, which I'm pretty sure it's not because Dan DiDio said so, which means I have to hope that Jeff Johns read this and was like, okay, that's it. I'm retconning it. I don't care. I don't care if I piss off people at DC Comics. I am saving Wally West. Damn the expense. Oh, and just in case, I was thinking this. I was thinking of splicing some clips of reactions that would definitely describe how I was feeling throughout this entire thing. So there might be some attempts to edit this, but if it fails miserably and if there's no clips in it or it just doesn't work out, then you'll know why. So, yeah, those are my thoughts on Heroes in Crisis issue number 8, part 8, Alive. This was, or as I call it, the character assassination attempt on Wally West. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more, and Jeff Johns, you have to save him.
What the hell has happened to this business?